Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. We're on to the question and answer portion. One question I've had a lot of people ask me is that with all the talk about how powerful Hellbats were, right? People were complaining like crazy during the beta. Hellbats this, Hellbat that. Then Blizzard basically made it so that you couldn't transform between modes until you got an upgrade, and they made Hellbats take up more space in the metavacs. A couple little nerfs there. Now we don't see Hellbats very often. Are we going to see them again? What's their role in Terran play? Were they nerfed too much, etc.? So basically, what's the new role of the Hellbat in Heart of the Swarm? And one thing I want to point out is that we are starting to see them being integrated back into play. One of the cool things was that there was a GSTL match. I believe it was Beyond versus somebody. It was a Terran Mirror recently, or the last 4 or 5 days on the GSTL. You can check out those games at GOM TV. But where he actually did this really cool one-base double Hellbat drop. So it was like 2 Minivex 4 Hellbats, and he just destroyed a Terran opponent. So I think we're going to start seeing that drop play kind of ease its way back in there potentially. I know in Europe a lot of Terrans have been doing that lately as well. But then again against Zerg, right? We see a player like Life using speedings and baitings to massively overwhelm Terrans. And we see Terrans were trying out mech at first against Zerg, and when they were playing mech, they're using a lot of Hellbats. But then the pure mech play ends up being very weak to mass swarm hosts. So and so they go back to pure bio with maybe some mines coming in. I think as Terrans get a little more experience, they'll start using a lot heavier mech, but not going full mech. If you go full mech, you're too weak to swarm hosts. So you got to have a bunch of Marines in that competition. But just because you have a bunch of Marines doesn't mean you can't also add in some Hellbats. Now Hellbats, of course, can be weak against Banelings when you mass up too many, but adding in like 4 to 8 Hellbats, along with 4 to 8 Widow Mines, and along with 2 to 4 Siege Tanks, if you add in all 3 of those different mech units, all of a sudden a Zerg Lairtech army can do very little against their composition. Of course, you need to have about 3 factories. So I think we'll see Terrans, you know, when they get to 3 bases, add in a second, third factory much faster than they're doing right now to potentially add in a lot more Hellbats and Siege Tanks as Zerg players start to counter the bio drops a little bit more, and Terrans don't want to just crank out mass bio. I think we're also going to see a lot against Protoss. Hellbats are insanely good against Protosses. Right now, Templar are very popular because they can both feedback Medivacs, and you can crank out a lot of Zealots, and people have been going very fast upgrades PvT. But no matter what your upgrades are, Hellbats are insanely powerful against Zealots. In fact, Tasia has been doing that quite a bit. He adds like something like 6 to 8 Hellbats in his army, and he keeps them behind the Bile Force, and then he kites back, and then and as he kites back, what it means is the Hellbats aren't in the very front. If they're in the very front, the Colossi and the Storms will often kill them too quickly. But if you keep them in the back and you kite through them, the first hits of the Colossi and Storm will usually not be that far back. But then the Zealots will charge into Bio. Your Bio goes behind the Hellbats. The Hellbats will eradicate the Zealots instantly, and then you can let them die and you can mop up. So I think we'll see them being utilized a lot more once Terran players basically start to lose more, and they're going to start trying to integrate new units in their builds. They're a little more, their builds will be more complex. So we haven't seen them do it yet because they don't need to. But as drops get weaker, we'll see more and more Hellbats being used because it makes a stronger army composition. So thank you guys for watching Rules of Engagement. That's it for this show, but we'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern is going to be the Sase vs. Ghost User match for the Winter Exhibition Tournament. Following that match will be another episode of Rules of Engagement. So tune out for now, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.